just life. An old soul, or rather a consciousness that had dressed itself in many forms, moving between others time and again. It had lived through good and bad moments. Each one gave it another impulse to experience something new, but also to return, to revisit the same things anew. This time it chose a difficult life. From the very beginning, the new existence started with hardships that would shape its course for years to come. In the form of a boy, it began its life in sadness. What he knows is based on what he was told. He buried those early events deep in forgetfulness. The boy's parents had brought about a situation in which he and his sister had to be taken from them. The new parents who adopted them wanted only one child, a girl. The boy was taken accidentally, or, if you prefer, unintentionally. It was winter shortly before his 4th birthday. Lots of snow, a sled, a park. Those are the first memories he can still recall. Everything that happened before had vanished from memory. He remembers kindergarten as if through fog, but only with good feelings. Before he started school, he met his new family, was baptized, had his name changed, and forgot his past. He no longer feared going outside in shoes. Before, he'd leave the house in slippers, believing it would help him return to the past, that it wouldn't mean leaving his true life behind forever. You could say he was born again, but he didn't yet know that the past would always stay with him, quietly trailing behind like a shadow. September 1st, the first time, dressed and ready for a new challenge. 1st grade, new friends. Time to make a good impression. The kids quickly formed bonds, friendships, but also rivalries. Almost the entire class got along. Most took part in the race for the podium. They wanted to be the best, the fastest, the coolest. Of course, there can only be one best, but the closer they came to that first place, the greater the satisfaction. Healthy competition gave them strength and direction. The greatest tension came in math class and gym. Solving math problems felt like the Olympics. A small group stood out, fast, precise, and rarely wrong. For the first 4 years, the children grew close. Most lived in nearby apartment blocks, no more than 5 minutes from school. That closeness made it easy to stay in touch outside class, especially in spring and summer when the weather invited outdoor play. Everything painted a blissful, wonderful picture of childhood. Days passed like a fairy tale, with arguments, but also with laughter echoing, long after the bell. After 4 years, everything changed. His parents moved to a bigger apartment and, sadly, also changed schools. From September on, he found himself in a class where everyone had known each other for years, often from the neighborhood and preschool. Looking back, that change proved unnecessary and caused great harm. He wasn't treated like the others. He was from the outside. Friendships built over years were tight-knit and closed. He didn't share their memories, secrets, or inside jokes. There was no malice, just cold indifference, silence at his desk, lonely breaks, conversations he was never invited into. He got used to it, but never accepted it. 4 years passed. Primary school was over, time lost. While others deepened friendships, he forgot what they felt like. Years later, when he mentioned it to his mother, she said, "If I'd known, I would have let you stay at the old school, even with the longer walk." He was speechless. Was the solution really so close all along? If only he'd known he could fight for it, he'd have turned back time. Years later, he began to wonder, How is it possible that traumatic memories can be erased from our present memory, yet still exist within us and shape the course of our lives? Only access to them changes, not their existence. And though hidden, they influence us, our character, our behavior, our choices. Their outlet often comes in compulsive behaviors, addictions. Without knowing why we're self-destructing, we can't begin to recover. How do you save yourself? Most likely, the path is different for everyone. But the first step is always the same: awareness. Realizing the problem exists. Admitting its destructive power, not just on yourself, but on those close to you. Next comes a plan, simple, achievable, gradual. Sometimes we replace one addiction with another, a positive one. A new habit draws attention away. After a few weeks, it becomes routine and pushes out the old pattern. But is that healing? Or just another way of putting the trauma to sleep? One that will waken again in a new disguise? Looking back, he realizes that throughout his life, regardless of age, the same feeling accompanied him. He knows he doesn't fit in. He feels like one of many soap bubbles, part of a greater structure, yet separate, isolated. He constantly senses that his life has some specific purpose, something he is meant to do, though he still can't name or define it. Time slips away. Life goes on. Maybe the moment of fulfillment is near. Or maybe this very feeling of being different is the sign that his path leads somewhere else. That is his hope,